Hi, and welcome to another week at the Working Mom Podcast. This is episode 11, and I don't have a guest this week because I have been dealing with this horrendous cold that I have that has now turned into a lovely sinus infection. So I sound a little nasally because I am. I have a lot of pressure in my sinuses that are making me sound this way. So I do apologize for that, and hopefully I articulate well this week and get through this week, because this week I wanted to talk about expectations and how to handle when things don't go your way. So I have a little story about that. On Thursday of last week, my daughter dances every Thursday, so bring her home from dance, we do dinner, and we're getting ready for bed, and all of a sudden my daughter randomly decides that she's gonna now tell us she has this report that's due tomorrow. So Thursday night at 7:30, she's telling us it's due tomorrow. And so we're like, how long have you known about this? And she says 2 weeks. So slightly frustrated, a bit more than frustrated, because it's pretty late, and I value my time when my children are in their beds going to sleep. That's a time that I usually get a lot more done, or I relax. Relaxing is usually not what I do, but I have been binge watching The Man in the High Castle, so because I've been sick, so I really didn't want to be doing homework with my daughter that was given 2 weeks prior, and now I'm just finding out. So take a look at the assignment, and it's a large assignment. I mean, it was given 2 weeks in advance for a reason. She has like 6 pages of line items that she's supposed to fill out that kind of help her transition into this big poster board about her person. And she chose Robert Ballard, I think, Ballard. And that name did not sound familiar to me. And my husband's like, oh yeah, my husband's a history buff. He likes things like way more than I do. So he's like, yeah, that's the guy who discovered the Titanic. Oh yeah, I'm sure I learned about that one time. Okay, well, what else did he do? So I'm pulling out my computer, I'm looking up this stuff, I'm reading her instructions, and I'm really fighting not being extremely angry with my daughter, because I have this expectation that she will do what she's supposed to do, that she will tell me when assignments are due, or something in her backpack will tell me that there's been an assignment given. But I'm going to be honest, this one is partially on me, because I didn't check her backpack. My husband didn't check her backpack, so I don't even know if there was an announcement. We do her weekly homework. She always has homework every week, so it's like 5 pages or 4 pages of math work or something throughout the week that are due on Friday that she has to turn in. So this one came as a surprise, and I didn't know anything about this guy up until the second my husband told me he was the man who discovered the Titanic on the bottom of the ocean floor, which is a pretty cool guy. So I'm looking him up and finding all these cool things, and I tell you, I learned a lot that night, and I think my daughter did too. But I also was struggling with, my daughter is slow. I've talked about this before. It takes her so long to do any one task. She's just a slow, pokey person. She doesn't wake up fast. She doesn't eat fast. She doesn't run fast. She does nothing fast except for talk. And sometimes even then there's huge gaps, and you're like, okay, come on, let's move on. So I am trying to help her. I'm talking to her about the quotes she can use, what he did in his life, and how she's going to translate this on paper. And she's writing in her own writing, and all her B's look like D's. So I have to say, okay, that's a B. You made a D. And this is a constant struggle for me, because I have a little amount of patience sometimes, and I have learned this about myself. Patience is a virtue, and I struggle to obtain it a lot, and sometimes I am better than others, but especially at the end of the day, when I have already used a lot of patience on people at work, I have little when I come home on a weeknight. So I am also thinking, okay, if I lash out at my expectations and I yell at her or I express just how frustrated I am, she is going to go into complete shutdown mode. I've learned that about my daughter. She is super emotional and she literally cannot function because she's just a ball of tears and she's disappointed me and that really bothers her. And so I'm really trying to keep it together. And we get the project almost all the way done, and we didn't finish a couple of things, but I was like, Michaela, it is like 10 o'clock. You have to go to bed. And the big poster was done. A majority of the papers were done. I think we had one paper at the end that we didn't finish, and she said she was going to have some time in class to do it, so I'm hoping that she got it done. And then part of me questioned, should I be doing this? Should I be helping her at this point? Now that she hasn't told us. I mean, she's only in the 3rd grade, so what are reasonable expectations? Do I let her fall on her face this time and get a bad grade? Or do I help her with this one and strongly imply this is not okay, and next time we are not going to stay up all night and help you. You are a big girl and these are responsibilities that you have to do on your own. She had like one sentence done of this whole project, and it was a real struggle for me because this hasn't happened. She's our oldest daughter, and so some of these things are new to me, to try and create this balance of dealing with another person who's completely independent and doesn't think like me and doesn't function like me, outside of my husband, who is also completely different than me and does not think like me and does not function like me. So I'm learning how to set the bar for her. What is okay and what is not okay. This was not okay to not tell me that this assignment was given 2 weeks ago and we're just starting it tonight. But I feel like I made the right decision because she definitely understood without me yelling at her that this was not okay. My husband was like, Michaela, this is a lot of work. It was given to you so that you could have time to get all of this done, because we just can't do this in one night. We should not be doing it one night. We need to go to bed. Now you're going to be grumpy the next day. Just explaining all of the things that go along with procrastination, essentially. And so we got it done, and it ended up ending really well. At the end, it was tears because she gets really frustrated with the B and the D thing, and she kept having to erase them and just getting frustrated with herself. And then it was late, and so some tears came, and we're like, okay, we're done. And that's one of the reasons we didn't finish it. It was like 10 o'clock. Okay, too bad. We got to go to bed. You're going to get a good grade on what you have. But sometimes we as parents, and especially as working moms, if you are in any level of leadership, you have sort of these expectations that are unspoken sometimes about the way people should act and the way people should think or do certain things. And we really have to overcome expectations. I think we have to overcome expectations with our children, with our husbands for certain, and with the people that we work with. Now, given there is a common ground of things that are unacceptable, like you can't come to work drunk, you can't come to, work without any clothes on. There's definitely a baseline of, no, we expect you to go by these standard guidelines. But I'm talking more about these expectations that we kind of build ourselves and push onto other people without really knowing that we're doing that. So, my son, he's 2.5, and he just is, there are little expectations, but we are potty training, and he's doing really well, and he's completely capable of it. But I do get super frustrated when I see that, okay, McLaren, you didn't tell mommy you had to go to the bathroom, and you went, and you were just on the toilet 5 minutes ago. And he is pretty aware of the sensation of that he has to go pee. He's shown us that, but I think he gets distracted. So I'm having a hard time trying to know what he's capable of and what is a acceptable expectation for him during this potty training goal. I don't want to discourage him, but he's smart enough to do it. So those are the kind of things I struggle with. And at work, I really feel like these expectations are not just pushed on other people. We give them to ourselves as women, as moms, as employees. We have this expectation that we are to show up every single time and be perfect 99% of the time. Some people are really good about giving themselves grace and other people are not. And sometimes I can be really good about giving myself grace when it's understandable to me. Like, oh, I didn't do this because, and I have a legitimate reason, that's not an excuse. But do I give myself grace when I mess up and I just blow it sometimes and I'm out to, I'm after myself to obtain this level of perfection that sometimes I can't get. And I'm very good about learning from my mistakes. Like if you tell me to do something, I'm going to be I don't want to be told again that I need to do this a different way or that I did it wrong. I really don't like being wrong. I should only have to be told once or twice. Oh, hey, you need to do this. And then I will make sure that I do it right. I find it very hard to have grace for myself when I mess up. And I create this world in my head that no one maybe even has these expectations for me, but I've set them myself. And don't get me wrong, expectations for yourself can be a really good thing. It's what makes me a driven person. It's what makes me successful at what I do, because I have this level that I expect of myself and this learning, this, I don't know how you would say it, this process that I have understood about myself, about how I need to listen and how I need to learn and take myself to the next step. But sometimes we have unrealistic expectations about us. I mean, we have a lot on our plates. We got the kids, we've got work, we've got a marriage, we've got a house, we've got the daily duties. And sometimes I feel the pressure is on to have perfection in all of those areas. We talk a lot about having a messy house, to our friends. Oh yeah, this is a mess and this is a mess. But do you let the people come over in that mess and really see it? Or do you actually just talk about it and then really quickly clean up before someone comes over? I am guilty of that all the time. I'll be like, oh, my room is a total mess. Or right now it's not. I totally cleaned it. And it makes me really, really happy when I do those things. But we don't really show each other the realness of life. And I feel like social media, as much as I love social media, we are seeing all of these people who are really fit and really pretty and have really good makeup, and it just looks like they've got it all together. And so you develop this subconscious expectation for yourself to 100% all the time be on it. I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna do this, and as soon as you don't, it's off the bandwagon. You're done. You're like, oh, I failed. I'm gonna go eat a whole bag of potato chips because this is pointless. And we knock ourselves off of our path because we are so hung up on the fact that we failed from the expectation we set for us. And that is not a positive way to live your life. That is a roller coaster life. And there are seasons in life, and that's fine. That's not what I'm talking about as in the roller coaster of what life gives you. I'm talking about handling things when expectation is not met in a healthy manner. You yell at your kids. Guess what? A learning moment. Instead of going and being like, I'm a horrible mom, why did God give me children? I can't do this. You instead say, okay, here's a teachable moment. I was wrong and I need to apologize to my kid. I gotta eat crow. I gotta do whatever it is to take that step and say, hey, hey, Michaela, I acted inappropriately and I really shouldn't have yelled at you because it's not right, because that's not how we express ourselves. Things like that. We have to learn from our own mistakes and learn that our expectations are not always going to be met. And then definitely, if we can't even meet all of our own expectations that we set for ourselves, we can't place expectation on other people to a certain degree, especially our children. We have to give them room for growth and room for learning, and room to make mistakes, because I think that's what my daughter struggles with a lot, is that she doesn't feel like she's able to make mistakes. And I surely hope that I didn't put that on her, because I definitely have had to apologize to her a few times. I want her to be able to take the mistake and learn from it. And instead, she kind of goes into shutdown mode about having that mistake made at all, which really breaks my heart, because it's not something, I don't go into shutdown mode. I might pout about it for a little bit or be pretty disappointed in myself, but I will always get back up on that horse and keep going. And she's not like that. She's kind of defeatist, and she will just curl into a ball and not want to try again. And dance has been really good for her for that reason, because she started she took a dance class, I think, when she was like 3 years old. And then we moved to Klamath Falls, and we just didn't put her in dance. We've put her in other sports and things. So she hasn't been in dance in a while. She really wanted to do dance, but it's expensive. So we hadn't put her in that. And my in-laws, that's what she got for Christmas. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be a continuing thing because she loves dance. But she had to start back in the class that was for the little kids to kind of get the basics. But she's older, and she had danced a long time ago. She had some memory, and she was doing really, really well. So the instructor called and was like, hey, I think that it would be really beneficial for her to move up a level because she's doing so well. So we asked her if she wanted to do that. The class is a little bit longer, so much so that they get a snack in the middle. And obviously it's faster paced because you're kind of expected to have the basics down. And so she expected, walking into that class, she was just going to have it down because, she was told that she was good and that she was doing so well. So she kind of had it in her mind. She had it in her mind that she would just have it down. It would be easy and fun and all of the things she dreamed of. And she's just like this amazing dancer with all these cool moves. But what really happened is she got to the tap portion, and because she hadn't done tap before and she was just learning the basics in tap, well, they had already kind of had a dance routine down, and it was really fast, and she wasn't getting it. So I think it was after the first or the second, I think it was the second class she had been to in the upper level, that she came home crying because she didn't get it right away. She wanted it to come easy. And I feel like we have a lot to learn from those type of things ourselves as adults, as mothers, as women and wives. And we really think sometimes that, okay, I'm going to make this plan. It's going to be awesome. I'm just going to attack it and go full force, and think that there's not going to be any failure involved or any hardship. And we might say, oh yeah, we know it's going to be hard, but what are you going to do when those hard times hit? Are you going to quit? Are you going to cry? Are you going to throw yourself on the floor? And I don't think that you have to not cry and that you have to not think it's hard, but I do think that you have to not quit. Your end goal needs to be growth. And if you see growth, you have had success. But we need to make sure that we are not giving ourselves unrealistic expectations that we can't meet, so we set ourselves up for failure. It's a lifelong journey of learning how to fall and get back up again and keep going. And also knowing when to quit. There are times that, your expectation is just unrealistic. You cannot do 500 things at once. You cannot wear yourself thin. You can't say yes to every church thing. You can't say yes to every friend thing. And you can't take on things at your job that sometimes you can't do. You have to set your parameters. You can't, a lot of times people will slough things off to other people, and it's really their responsibility. So you have to be strong enough in the appropriate manner to say, I can't do this for you. I have this and this and this going already, or I don't have time. I'm really tired. I'm going to have to sit this one out, and not give yourself an expectation of always having to say yes to everybody, to please everybody, because you're going to wear yourself way too thin, and it's just not, you're just not going to have time for yourself. And when you wear yourself too thin and you get really tired and you don't have anything left, that's when you get attacked. I feel like that is like the worst enemy of women, is being spread really thin, because we are capable of so many things and we are very strong people. I mean, we were given the ability to multitask like no other. I love to say, and this is not negative, but men are so compartmentalized. They can't multitask like we can. They can't have several different thoughts going on and be doing several different things at the same time like most women can. So the times that we keep taking things on and we keep pushing ourselves to the breaking point is where we get attacked, and we quit a lot of things and we give up. I've been very discouraged that I many times in the last couple of months have tried to start a regimented workout program, and then I got hemorrhoids, which enabled like a bad ones, that so much so that I had to see a surgeon, and I was told, don't work out, do not do anything because you're going to make it worse. So I started on this progress, and I got really upset when I couldn't continue on the progress because I had to take time to heal. And then I have not been able to do my workouts since Tuesday, like Monday, because I came down with this really bad cold and I can't breathe, and I have, and I'm so tired, just so tired. I have pressure underneath my eyes, above my eyes, in my sinuses, and I've had a massive headache basically, for on and off for a little while, and it started yesterday to get really bad, and today it's really bad, and I can't push through certain things. I have to give myself time to heal and recover, and I feel like we have to say no sometimes to give ourselves a mental break before we go into a mental breakdown, before we give ourselves anxiety, before we can't sleep. And some of us, me for sure, I don't sleep well as it is. So anytime that I take more time away from sleep because I have anxiety or I'm thinking about things that I didn't get done because I have so much on my plate, that's when you know you have to say, enough is enough. I need to cut something out. It's very important that you know your boundaries, because setting unrealistic expectations for yourself is one way that we can set ourselves up for failure when we're trying to set ourselves up for success. And your children see this, and typically your husbands see this, and your relationships suffer. So I wanted to read a little something about resting and maybe not having this anxiety be a part of who you are when you don't meet those expectations, or with the disappointment, I guess. So this is actually from the book Sarah Young wrote, called Jesus Calling, Enjoying Peace in His Presence. And it's a 365 day, kind of just like a little encouragement or a little something. And I kind of find it funny when, even though this is written and you can read it every year, and it's a different day every year, I find that these things are extremely relevant. So this is: rest in my presence, allowing me to take charge of this day. Do not bolt into the day like a racehorse suddenly released. Instead, walk purposefully with me, letting me direct your course one step at a time. Thank me for each blessing along the way. This brings joy to both you and me. A grateful heart protects you from negative thinking. Thankfulness enables you to see the abundance I shower upon you daily. Your prayers and petitions are winged into heaven's throne room where they are permeated with thanksgiving. And everything give thanks, for this is my will for you. And that's taken from Colossians 4:2 and 1 Thessalonians 5:18. And I just thought it was really fitting for what was on my heart to talk about, because I've had a lot of things kind of pressed into me and pushed into me this year, and I've been able to meet most of that, but I've also had to say no to a lot of things and to rest and not just, I will go gung-ho on things. For example, if you're watching this on YouTube, my hair is straight today, and my hair is typically curly. A year ago, I started what I call, and a lot of people call, a curly girl journey, where I have been training my hair to have its natural curl look better and stop all the damage from constantly straightening it. So I've kind of set this weird expectation where I have to have curly hair, because on Instagram there's a whole curly girl world, and I might disappoint someone, or I might I don't know, throw someone off track with my straight hair. But today it was just practical. I didn't protect my hair last night, which isn't a big deal. I just fell asleep because I was tired, and I was being a little bit lazy because I didn't feel good. So I fell asleep, and my hair was a hot mess this morning. So I had to jump in the shower, which is a normal thing. I got a shower, but it was really cold outside, and I had to wake up and shovel snow. So practically, if my hair is drying or if it's curly, I'm not going to put a hat on it and mess up my hair, because I have to go to work and I have to look presentable at work. So normally I would prep my hair and do it at night, but I didn't. So I straightened my hair, and that's okay, because guess what? It's just hair, and it's an expectation I set for myself. Nobody really cares whether my hair is straight or curly that day. So that's just some little silly thing that we as women do, things like that all the time. So I just wanted to give you some encouragement that you're not the only one that sets expectations up, but make sure you're setting expectations that are realistic. Set the bar high, but not too high, so you are not setting yourself up for failure. I'm really glad that you joined me this week. Again, I am still working on getting a logo and some things for working on a website. I'm very excited about them. I'm having setting up more interviews with some other working moms to give you some great tips and encouragement. I'm just really looking forward to taking this journey with you guys. So please share the podcast and make sure you join me on social media. I'm on Facebook at The Working Mom. And I am on Instagram at Sandy R. Wessel. That's just my real life. You see me doing life with my kids. I talked about that curly hair stuff. I do that all the time. I post the dinners that I make, and I just share my life with you. So pop on there, give me a holler, and let me know you're listening, and make sure you share this. And I will see you guys next week.